Okay, this section is exponential probability, and we know the mean is equal to 20 minutes per customer. So what we can do is we can use StatCrunch. You can look at the example. And you can see that this little symbol here, lambda, is 1 divided by the mean. So you could plug in 20 here and do 1 divided by 20, and that would be lambda. And then once you get get lambda, you would plug it in right here, okay? And then as you can see, you plug in the -6 here, and then you do -6 times lambda, and you can put this into a TI-84, 1 minus E rooftop or exponent button, -6 times 0.20, and you will get the answer, okay? So that's how you work it by hand, and we will work some by hand in a minute, but didn't mean to go, but to do it in StatCrunch, you're going to go to StatCrunch. It's kind of like normal distribution, but you go to stat calculators instead of going to normal, you go to exponential, and all you have to do here, it's really simple, is to put in the mean and then plug in your number. And it will give you exactly what you want, 0.3624. Now, if you want to do it by hand, check it with this, that's a great idea. But for time purposes, you may run out of time trying to work every single one of them by hand. Okay, so that's how you work most of these homework problems. Same thing with this one. The mean is 8, and then you can put these in. Now, let's look at problem C here. You work it just like normal. You find the probability of 17, and you find the probability of 8, and you subtract those two. So, I guess I can do one real quick just to show you. I want to spend most of my time on the ones that you have to work by hand. But if you go to calculators and you go to exponential, put in your mean. Here it is 8. And then first let's do the 17. I'm working on the C part, 0.8806. And then subtract the other 0.8806 minus 0.6321, and you will get 0.2485. So you work it the same way, you just have a different kind of calculator. You notice the exponential calculator, it narrows and gets smaller and smaller and smaller and continues exponentially. Alright, moving on to, I believe question number 3 is where they say, okay, we want to see if you can work this by hand. So they kind of threw us for a loop here. So an exponential probability distribution has lambda equal to 21 customers per hour. Find the following probabilities. So first of all, what you need to do is look at your formula here, okay? And lambda is 1 divided by mu, which is the mean. But we don't have to do 1 divided by the mean because we already have lambda. So you're just going to plug lambda in here. And then here, right here, is where your number goes, that the probability that you're trying to find, okay? So I'm going to work this one, the first one, by hand. And it is, I'm going to write the formula up here. Well, you can do this in your and I'm not going to do it exactly like it is, but you can do this in your excuse me, I'm trying to write with my finger, but you can do this in your cell phone. I actually did them that way because I'm out of batteries. for my calculator. But anyway, so you would do, for A, you would do 1 minus E to the, let's see, we won't arrive within the next 3 minutes, so to the -3. Now here's the kicker. Our lambda is 21 minutes per hour, okay? But down here we're looking at minutes. So if it's 21 per hour, we need to change hours to minutes. So how many minutes are in an hour? 60. So you have to do 21 times 60. So if you do -3 times 21, basically, if you put this in your calculator, 1 minus E raised to the, you could even go ahead and do, you could do this if you wanted to. -3 times 21 is -63. Remember when you multiply fractions? Over 60. Okay? If you have a TI-84, you can put it in like that. When you're doing the TI-84, what you have to remember is there's a little button that looks like this. So you put that button, and then you would do -3 times 21 divided by 60. And put that in your calculator, and it will give you the correct answer. Okay. And once you get the answer, it's 0.6501. What I was messing up on, and what you probably are messing up on, is that you have to restate this in minutes. You can't do 21, just 21. You have to do 21 per hour, change hours to minutes. So if you were a little confused, that may be what you were confused on. On B, the probability that the next customer will arrive within the next 15 seconds. So 15 would go here. Now seconds, instead of, we know there are 60 seconds in a minute and there's 60 minutes in an hour. So 60 times 60 would be 3,600. So we would do 21 divided by 3,600. We have to state lambda in the terms that we're looking for depending on what the question is, okay? So when you do that, when you do 1 minus E raised to the -15 times 21 out of 36, you will get 0.0838. Now, let me just look at something real quick. If you're off in rounding, what I suggest you do is look at the example and it will tell you how to round, okay? So for the most part, when I did it the way the example told me to, so for example for B, let's look at B. Okay, first we have to do lambda, which we did, okay? But then it wants you to put everything in at one time, and it doesn't want you to round until the end. So if you will put all of this in your calculator at one time and round at the end, you will get your answer, okay? And let me see if there's anything else. This one, you will have to do, alright, let's see if we have enough time to do this one. This one you have to do by hand too, but let's look at B. The probability of the next customer will arrive within 1 to 5 minutes. So first we have 1 minus E to the -1 and 1 minus E to the -5 times, well, 13 per hour, but now we've got to change it to minutes. So 13 out of 60. There's 60 minutes in the hour. 13 out of 60. That's a 60 right there. I know it doesn't look like it. So let me look and see if let me make sure that I'm looking at my right calculations here. So I ended up getting 0.1948 here, and then I end up getting 0.6615 here, and when I subtract those, I get 0.4657. What's going to get you here probably is it rounding, like rounding too soon. It's going to throw your numbers off. But luckily, there's only a few where you're going to have to work them by hand. So for time purposes, and there's not a lot of problems on this homework. This one you can do with the calculator, the StatCrunch, and I believe number 6 you can do with StatCrunch. And anytime you see average, they're giving you the mean. You can use the exponential StatCrunch calculator. Same thing here, they're giving you the mean. So if you have the mean, you can use the StatCrunch calculator. So this homework is not too bad. If you have any questions about the actual formula, message me and I'll try to help you with your rounding to see where you're messing up with your rounding. But hopefully this video will help you with 6.3.